Hi everybody, this is Todd Creager. Today I want to talk to you about successful brief therapy that I did with a woman who has been in a toxic relationship, toxic marriage. We'll say her name is Michelle, and Michelle is someone who has been married for uh, quite a few years here and has twins, we'll say, are 8. I'm changing changing it a little bit to protect the the identity. But she anyway. So she is someone who uh, was mistreated by her husband over the years, verbally abused, told she was dumb, that she was ugly, and on and on. He also uh, did start having an affair with another person, and yet refused to leave the house, even though it was really clear that this relationship isn't going anywhere. So when she came to see me, she was, and this is what happens when people are in these toxic relationships. She was kind of beaten down. She was beaten down psychologically and emotionally, and she bought in. We tend to buy into what abusive partners tell us sometimes. That even though there's some part of it that goes, no, he's really not. He's being mean. He's got problems. There's another part of her that was like, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I am dumb. Maybe I am ugly. Maybe I am not a great mother. On and on. And there's doubt that sets in. So what I did with her is help her see that, and I want to tell you how I did it. Help her see that um, to separate out. This is what we have to do when we're in toxic relationships. We got to separate out what is my stuff and what is yours. People in toxic relationships are not perfect, right? So we all do have our flaws. Maybe this person wouldn't be a playboy playmate. Not that that's necessary to be enough, okay? Or maybe there are moments when, and I'm not saying this is even necessarily true for her, but then when she might have lost her temper a little bit with her kids. So people are imperfect, and so abusive people will characterize a person who's imperfect as, you are this bad person, you are this, you are that. Maybe she didn't know how to do something because it wasn't in her area of expertise, so now she's dumb. So the truth is, she wasn't very knowledgeable about this particular thing. So what I'm saying is, there's always these grains of truth that the people that are these gaslighters that make you feel like you're not good enough. Um, and I've talked about this in other areas where they make you feel, or they evoke in you a sense of not being good enough. So I helped her begin to separate out what was her husband's stuff and how he regulated his emotions was to beat her down. Why? It just like with when I talk about gaslighting, it serves the purpose of this man not being able to look at himself. He didn't have to look at himself, because if he looked at himself really honestly, he would feel his shame, his guilt, and instead of being a grown-up man and doing that, he could just put somebody else down and kind of be above it all. And so she ends up becoming the recipient of his stuff. And that's what happens in toxic relationships, that we end up being the recipient of the other person's unlooked at and unresolved issues. That they're being hard on themselves, but they can't really take a good look, leads to them being hard on us. So I helped her see that. We also did some EMDR, which I've talked about in other videos and audios. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing is what it stands for. And of course, we talked about, in EMDR, we target memories that stick with you, that lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. So there was the memory of when she discovered he was being unfaithful and how she felt inferior to the other person. Of course, the memories of when he verbally would tell her she's stupid or dumb, those kinds of memories, we targeted a number of them, less than a handful actually. And what we do in EMDR is we help them help the person process it so that they're free of it, that stuff in the past. And also with EMDR, your healthy self, your adult self, the part of you that can believe the best in yourself gets fortified. And so she came away from the EMDR approach to helping her with tremendous breakthroughs, and she's definitely broken through and feels herself. And what happens when you start to separate out that person's issues from yours, you start to resolve the trauma that you had, that it also frees you to then take better care of yourself in the present. So how we left it at this point is she's being way more assertive with her partner, and they will ultimately divorce. And I think that she's actually, despite sad, of course, that the marriage didn't work out, there's an excitement that she can be free of the abuse, and also to feel who she is, to feel herself, to feel her worth. And that's very important. So it's gratifying work that I do, and the idea of being her own person, using EMDR in her case and many other people's cases to help process things, really can work. And there's, I'm passionate about helping people who have been in toxic relationships to break free. Sometimes you can break free by the relationship changing. Sometimes when the other person who's being toxic refuses to change, then you prepare the person to exit. So that's all I want to say about this particular person, Michelle. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.